The blood on those sheets wasn't Sarah's. I stood in the bedroom doorway, a long strand of hair clutched in my hand. Black, curly, and smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize. Definitely not Sarah's. Sarah had just stepped out of the shower. When she saw me staring at the bed, her face went white. "Ethan, what are you doing back?" "It's not your time of the month," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "Whose blood is this?" She lunged for the sheet, trying to rip it off the bed, but I grabbed her arm. "Are you crazy? It's my blood. I cut my finger earlier." I looked at her perfectly intact hands and let out a cold laugh. "Sarah, we've been married for 3 years. Do you think I'm an idiot?" Panic flickered in her eyes, but she quickly regained her composure. "Ethan, you've been under so much stress lately. You're always imagining things." I didn't say anything. Instead, I pulled out my phone and brought up the security footage from the smart home camera. On the screen, a man was leaving our house through the back gate. The timestamp read 2:00 p.m. I got home at 3. Sarah's face completely crumbled when she saw the video. "That's my cousin, Mark. He came over to borrow some money." "Borrow money?" "In the bedroom. He was waiting in the living room for a long time. I just let him sit in the bedroom for a bit." "What's wrong with that?" Her excuses were getting weaker, but she still managed to look aggrieved. I walked right up to her, staring into her eyes. "Then how do you explain this hair?" "What hair?" "Long, curly. Not your texture." Sarah froze for a second, then burst into tears. "Ethan, how can you suspect me like this? We're married." The waterworks started on cue. Quite the performance. "Are we? Then you won't mind if I check your phone, right?" "Why should I? I'm your wife, not a criminal." Her reaction only confirmed my suspicions. Sarah had changed so much over these past 3 years. She used to be gentle, considerate. Now, she was always finding excuses not to come home, claiming she had to take care of her sick cousin. I naively believed she was just too kind-hearted. Until today, when I cut my business trip short and walked in on this. "Ethan, I'm so disappointed." "You actually don't trust me," Sarah said, wiping her tears. "I'm going to stay at my mom's for a few days. We can talk when you've calmed down." She tried to walk out, but I blocked the doorway. "Thinking of leaving? Leave the phone. Why should I give you my phone? I'm your husband, and that gives you the right to be unreasonable." "Ethan, you're really hurting me." She tried to push past me, but I grabbed her wrist. "Sarah, are you still going to keep up this act? Let go of me." She struggled, her nails digging into my skin. "Ethan, you're insane." I let go, looking at her furious expression. If she was really innocent, why was she so agitated? If she truly had nothing to hide, why wouldn't she let me see her phone? "Fine, go," I said, stepping aside. "But Sarah, this isn't over." She shot me a venomous look, grabbed her purse, and slammed the door behind her. Silence descended on the house again, leaving just me. I walked to the window and watched Sarah get into a black sedan parked downstairs. A man was in the driver's seat. From the back, he looked exactly like the mark from the security footage. The car quickly disappeared into the night. I took out my phone and dialed a number. "Liam, I need you to check someone out for me." "Bro, who is it?" "Mark Foster, Sarah's cousin." There was a pause on the other end. "Ethan, did you find something out? Just give me the info." After hanging up, I sank onto the sofa and lit a cigarette. Through the smoke, I remembered our wedding 3 years ago. Sarah had been so beautiful then, so innocent. She'd sworn to be my wife forever, to grow old with me. And now, she couldn't even manage basic loyalty. My phone buzzed. A text from Liam. "Got Ethan. Mark Foster, 28, CEO of an investment firm, worth millions. Key point, he's not Sarah's cousin. They're not related at all." My grip tightened on the phone, my blood boiling. So it was all a lie. The sick cousin, the need to take care of him. All excuses she'd fabricated. She was cheating on me with another man in our marital bed. "Anything else?" I texted back. "Yeah, they've been seeing each other for 6 months. Frequent expensive hotels." "Ethan, what are you going to do?" What was I going to do? I looked at that defiled bedsheet, the anger inside me roaring to life. "Sarah, if you want to play games, I can play too." The next morning, Sarah came back. She looked exhausted, her eyes red and swollen as if she'd cried all night. "Ethan, I want to talk." I was in the kitchen making breakfast and didn't even turn around. "Talk about what?" "About yesterday. I think there's been a misunderstanding." I turned to face her. She was still wearing yesterday's clothes, her hair a mess. "Where'd you spend the night?" "At my girlfriend's." Another lie. Liam's investigation showed she and Mark Foster had booked a room at the Grand Hyatt last night. "Breakfast?" I slid a fried egg onto a plate. Sarah looked taken aback, clearly not expecting me to be so calm. "Ethan, you're not angry anymore?" "What good would being angry do?" I sat down at the table. "Since you say it's a misunderstanding, let's just call it that." She visibly relaxed and came to sit across from me. "I knew you'd understand." Mark really is my cousin, just a distant one. I hadn't told you the details. I nodded, pretending to believe her. Oh, I see. Yes. And he really did come to me because he was in trouble. His company's got cash flow problems, and he needed to borrow some money to tide him over. How much did he borrow? 75,000. I almost laughed out loud. 75 grand. She just plucked that number out of thin air. Where'd the money come from? Sarah tapped her fingers on the table, a nervous habit of hers. I used some of my personal savings, and also... Also what? I pawned that necklace my mom gave me. I looked at the diamond necklace she was wearing, the one my mother-in-law had left her before she passed away. This one. I gestured to her neck. Sarah instinctively touched the necklace, her expression changing instantly. Not this one. Another one. Which one? I don't remember you having another necklace. It was just a cheap one I bought a while ago. You probably never noticed it. More lies, bigger loopholes. I stood up and walked over to her. Sarah, we've been married for 3 years. You think I don't know you? She looked up at me, a hint of fear in her eyes. What do you mean? Nothing. Just that you've changed a lot lately. I gently caressed her cheek. The Sarah I knew wouldn't lie. I'm not lying. She shot up from her chair. Ethan, why are you always accusing me? Then would you dare to let me see your phone? The phone again, she yelled, furious. I told you. I'm not letting you see my phone. Why not? Because I need my privacy. Do married couples need privacy from each other? Of course they do. Her voice was almost hysterical. Ethan, you're suffocating me. Watching her agitated state, I became even more certain of my judgment. Okay, then I won't look. I sat back down. But I have one condition. What condition? Tonight, we go out to dinner together. To celebrate resolving our misunderstanding. Sarah visibly relaxed. Okay, where should we go? You pick the place. Then let's go to Vincent's Italian kitchen. You love their food. I smiled. Sounds good. She seemed suspicious that I'd agreed so readily. Ethan, are you really not angry anymore? Why would I be angry? I trust my wife. Even I found the words ironic as I said them. A smile finally appeared on Sarah's face. I knew you were the best. She came over and hugged me. I could smell the faint scent of men's cologne on her. Not my brand. Ethan, I'm going to take a shower and then get some sleep. I didn't sleep well last night. Go ahead. After she went upstairs, I immediately took out my phone and texted Liam. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Vincent's. Get your camera gear ready. Got it. In the afternoon, Sarah's phone rang several times. Each time, she'd glance nervously at the screen and quickly hang up. Whose call was that? I asked. Telemarketer. That many telemarketers? There are just a lot of them these days. She switched her phone to silent. So annoying. But I noticed the caller ID on her screen. Mark. It seemed this cousin was quite concerned about her. At 6:30, we left on time. In the car, Sarah was constantly on her phone, her fingers flying across the keyboard. Who are you texting? My mom. She didn't even look up. She's asking we're going to have kids. Have kids? With me? Or with Mark Foster? When we got to Vincent's, we found a table by the window. Sarah ordered a few dishes, then excused herself to go to the restroom. As soon as she left, I saw Liam stand up from another table and nod at me. Everything was going according to plan. 10 minutes later, Sarah returned, a smile on her face. How's the food I ordered? Great. I raised my wine glass. To our reconciliation. Cheers. As our glasses clinked, I saw her phone light up on the table. It was a text message. See you tonight. Usual place. Zinda, Mock. Halfway through dinner, Sarah's phone rang again. She glanced at the screen, her expression shifting slightly. Ethan, my mom suddenly isn't feeling well. I have to go check on her. Now. I looked at my watch. It's only 8. Yeah, she just called saying she has chest pains. I'm worried. Sarah was already on her feet, grabbing her purse. Her movements hurried. I'll go with you. No need. Her refusal was quick. You haven't finished eating, and Mom probably just has her usual issues. No need to make a big deal out of it. If your mom's sick, of course I should go see her. Really, it's fine. I can go by myself. She walked over to me and planted a light kiss on my cheek. You head home early and get some rest. I'll be back as soon as I've sorted things out. With that, she rushed off. I didn't chase after her. I just continued eating. 10 minutes later, Liam came over. Bro, I'm on her. Where'd she go? Not to any hospital. Straight to the Grand Hyatt. Liam sat down in Sarah's recently vacated chair. Room 1203. Mark Foster's waiting for her there. I put down my fork and lit a cigarette. Did you get it on camera? Got footage of her entering the hotel, but I can't get what's happening inside the room. That's enough. I stared out at the city lights, feeling surprisingly calm. Maybe because I'd been mentally prepared for it. So, when it was thoroughly confirmed, I wasn't as furious as I'd imagined. It was more disappointment, and a mocking derision for my own stupidity. Ethan, what are you going to do? Wait a little longer. Wait for what? For her to slip up more. Right now, I'd only caught her cheating, but I wanted more than that. I wanted to know how long she'd been betraying me, whether she had other secrets. Most importantly, I wanted her to pay the price. Liam, do some digging into Mark Foster's company. Already did. His company's doing great. He's not short on cash at all. Then why is he getting close to Sarah? Well, Liam hesitated. Ethan, are you sure you want to hear this? Tell me. From what I gather, Mark Foster is a real piece of work, a con artist. He specializes in seducing wealthy married women. Sarah isn't his first target. My fist clenched, knuckles cracking. Who else has he targeted? Mr. Peterson's wife, Mr. Davy's wife, and a few others I don't know by name. His M.O. is always the same. Get close to the target, create opportunities to get intimate, and then either scam them out of money or what? Or blackmail them with compromising photos. My blood ran cold. Blackmail with photos? Did that mean Sarah might already be under his control? Are you sure? Positive. I talked to a few of the husbands of his previous victims. Same methods every time. I stood up and started walking out. Ethan, where are you going? To the hotel. Calm down, bro. Going there now, we'll just tip him off. Liam blocked my way. Guys like Foster are slippery. If he finds out we're onto him, he might do something desperate. So I should just stand by and watch him use Sarah? No, Ethan. What I mean is, we need to handle this once and for all. Don't give him any openings. I took a few deep breaths, trying to calm myself. Liam was right. Now wasn't the time for rash actions. What's your plan? I've already contacted a few of the other victims. We're planning to team up against Foster. As long as we gather enough evidence, we can put him away for good. How long will it take? A week. A week. I could wait. But Sarah, this week, I want Sarah monitored 24/7. No problem. It was almost 11 when I got home. Sarah wasn't back yet. I took a shower and lay in bed, waiting for her. At 1 in the morning, I heard the lock click. Sarah tiptoed in, thinking I was asleep. Ethan, she whispered. I didn't respond, feigning sleep. She fumbled her way into the bathroom in the dark, and soon the sound of running water filled the air. 20 minutes later, she emerged, wrapped in a towel, her hair dripping wet. She carefully climbed into bed and slipped under the covers. I could feel the heat radiating from her body, her breathing a little ragged. Ethan, she called out again, softly. Still, I didn't answer. She let out a sigh of relief and turned her back to me. A few minutes later, her breathing evened out. She must have fallen asleep. I opened my eyes and stared at her back. Moonlight filtered through a gap in the curtains, illuminating her shoulder. Her skin was pale, smooth, but now in my eyes it seemed tainted. I wanted to reach out and touch her, but I resisted. This woman was no longer my wife. She was someone else's plaything. The thought felt like a knife twisting in my gut. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of trust, 3 years of love. All of it a joke. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to sleep. Tomorrow, there was a lot to do. The next morning, Sarah woke up late. I'd already made breakfast by the time she slowly came downstairs. Ethan, you're up early. She stretched. How was Mom last night? I'd almost forgotten her excuse from the night before. She's fine, just a false alarm. She sat down at the table. The doctor said it was indigestion causing the chest pain. Oh, really? I feigned concern. That's good. By the way, I might have to go out again today. To take care of your mom again? No, it's about Mark. She looked down, eating her breakfast. His company still has some issues to sort out. I need to help him run some errands at the bank. Need my help? No, you're so busy with work. I'm not busy. I've handed most of the company stuff to Liam recently. Sarah looked up at me. Ethan, is something on your mind lately? You seem different. Different? How so? You never used to actively care about my family or friends, but now you always want to get involved. I smiled. People change. I guess I felt I wasn't caring enough about you before. That's true, she said, nodding thoughtfully. But you like this now? It makes me a little uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because my concern was interfering with her affair. Sarah, let me ask you a question. What question? If there was a third person in our relationship, what would you do? Sarah's hand froze midair, her expression a little unnatural. Why are you asking that? No reason, just curious. That's a pointless question. She resumed eating. We're married. How could there be a third person? Just hypothetically. Not even hypothetically. I don't like discussing such topics. She clearly wanted to drop the subject and got up to leave. Sarah, if one day you stop loving me, please just tell me directly. Don't lie to me. She paused, then walked back and hugged me. Ethan, what nonsense are you talking? How could I ever stop loving you? Her hug was tight, but I felt no warmth. I'll love you forever, always, she whispered in my ear. Forever. The word sounded so ironic coming from her lips. I'll love you forever too. I hugged her back, a cold sneer in my heart. After Sarah left, I immediately called Liam. Follow her. Document everything she does. Got it. In the afternoon, Liam sent me a few photos. Sarah and Mark Foster in a coffee shop, talking intimately, her hand on his, their bodies close. Another photo was of them in a mall, Mark helping her try on a necklace, his actions very affectionate. The last photo made my blood boil. They were kissing in a corner of the mall, Sarah actively wrapping her arms around Mark's neck. I stared at these photos, feeling a crushing weight on my chest. This was my wife, the woman I had loved deeply for 3 years. In front of me, she was the gentle, considerate wife. Outside, she was another man's lover. My phone rang. It was Sarah. Ethan, I might be home late tonight. You go ahead and eat. Don't wait for me. Working overtime again? Yeah, the bank procedures are pretty complicated. Then take care of yourself. Don't get too tired. I know. You get some rest too. After hanging up, I lit a cigarette. Not coming home tonight. Another night at a hotel. I took out my phone and sent Liam a message. Prepare to move. Now. Yes, tonight we wrap this up. I'd had enough. I didn't want to watch this farce continue. Since Sarah wanted to act, I let her have her grand finale. At 8 o'clock that evening, following the address Liam provided, I arrived at the Grand Hyatt. Room 12. I didn't knock. I used the key card Liam had given me and swiped the door open. The room was quiet, but I could hear the shower running in the bathroom. I walked to the bathroom door. Through the frosted glass, I could see 2 figures inside. Sarah's laughter was bright, joyful. I'd never heard her laugh like that. I pushed open the bathroom door. The sound of the water stopped abruptly. Sarah and Mark Foster were wrapped in each other's arms. They both froze when they saw me. Ethan, Sarah shrieked in terror, hastily trying to cover herself with a towel. What are you doing here? I looked at the scene before me, feeling surprisingly calm. I'm here for my wife. Mark Foster, however, was quite composed. He slowly put on a bathrobe. Mr. Miller, I apologize for you seeing this. Apologize? I let out a cold laugh. You seduced my wife, and now you're apologizing? Ethan, listen to me, I can explain. Sarah tried to approach me, but a look from me stopped her in her tracks. Explain what? Explain why you're naked with another man. It's not what you think. Then what is it? I pulled out my phone and displayed the photos. Or perhaps explain these. When Sarah saw the photos, her face turned deathly pale. Ethan, you had me followed? Followed? My laugh turned colder. I was gathering evidence of my wife's affair. Ethan, I can explain. No need to explain. I turned to leave. Tomorrow, at the courthouse. We're getting a divorce. I heard Sarah's sobs behind me, but I didn't look back. Back home, I packed all of Sarah's things and put them in the living room. Clothes, makeup, jewelry, and all the gifts I'd given her. In 3 years, she had left surprisingly few traces in this house. Perhaps she had never considered this place her real home. At 2 in the morning, Sarah returned. She saw the suitcases in the living room, a flash of panic in her eyes. Ethan, what are you doing? Packing your things. I sat on the sofa, looking at her. You're moving out first thing tomorrow. Ethan, can we please talk? She walked towards me, trying to take my hand, but I pulled away. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. I can explain what happened tonight. How are you going to explain it? That you were forced? Or that you were just discussing work? Sarah bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes. Ethan, I admit I made a mistake, but what? But I had my reasons. Reasons? I really wanted to hear what kind of excuse she could come up with. Let's hear them. Sarah took a few deep breaths, then began. Mark has photos of me. What photos? Some compromising photos. Her voice was small. He threatened me. If I didn't cooperate, he'd send them to you. So you cooperated? I had no choice. She started crying. Ethan, I'm a victim too. Watching her cry, a wave of disgust washed over me. Even now, she was still lying. Sarah, do you know what I hate most? What? Lying. I stood up, especially lying after being caught red-handed. I'm not lying. Aren't you? I took out my phone and played the video Liam had sent, then explained this. In the video, Sarah was actively kissing Mark, wrapping her arms around him, her face alight with a happy smile. Where was the slightest hint of being threatened? Sarah saw the video and was utterly speechless. And this. I pulled up another video. This is from your first meeting 6 months ago. The video showed Sarah waiting for Mark in a coffee shop. After they met, they chatted happily, and in the end, Sarah proactively gave him her contact information. Was this also because you were threatened? Sarah slumped onto the sofa, silent. Sarah, things have come to this, and you're still playing the victim? I stood before her. If you cheated, you cheated. Why make up so many lies? You what? You think I'm an idiot? You think I wouldn't investigate? I laid all the evidence out in front of her. Hotel booking records, her chat logs with Mark, and bank transfer records. In 6 months, you transferred $250,000 to Mark. Was that also because you were threatened? Sarah looked at the evidence, her face turning ashen. Ethan, you what? You love him? She didn't answer, but her silence said everything. Fine. Very good. I clapped my hands. Since you love him, then go to him. Ethan, we can start over. She suddenly grabbed my hand. I can cut ties with him completely. Can we start over, please? Start over. I shook her hand off. Sarah, do you think that's possible? It is. We can. Do you think I'll ever trust you again? I swear I'll never again. Enough. I cut her off. Sarah, your vows are worthless. She stared at me blankly, the hope in her eyes gradually fading. Ethan, can we really not save this? No. Why? We used to be so in love. That was the past. I looked at her. The you now, you make me sick. Those words stabbed in her heart like a knife. Her eyes instantly became vacant, her whole being seeming to lose its soul. Sick. She repeated the word. So that's what I've become in your eyes, isn't it? She was silent for a long time, then slowly stood up. Fine. I'll move out. She dragged her suitcase towards the door, pausing at the threshold. Ethan, there's something I want to say to you. Say it. I did love Mark, but... She turned back to look at me. I also truly loved you. Loved? I sneered. Sarah, you don't even know what love is. A flash of pain crossed her eyes, but it quickly vanished. Maybe. With that, she left without looking back. The sound of the door closing was soft, but to me, it roared like thunder. 3 years of marriage, over just like that. The next day, I didn't go to the courthouse. Sarah didn't come looking for me either. Liam came over to have a drink with me. Seeing me silent, he tentatively asked, Bro, you okay? Perfectly fine. I raised my glass. I'm free. So about Mark Foster. Proceed as planned. Got it. Even though Sarah had left, that menace Mark Foster couldn't be allowed to continue harming others. 3 days later, Liam brought good news. Bro, it's done. Mark Foster's been arrested. Charges are fraud and extortion. Is the evidence solid? Solid. His computer had tons of compromising photos of victims, plus transfer records. He's looking at least 10 years in prison this time. 10 years. Too light for what he'd done. How are the other victims? They're all very grateful to us. A few have already reconciled with their husbands. Does Sarah know about this? She should. She was there when Foster was arrested. I nodded, not asking anymore. A week later, Sarah sent me a text message. Ethan, can we talk? I didn't reply. A few days after that, she came directly to my office. Ethan, I need to talk to you. I looked at her haggard appearance, feeling no emotion. Speak. Mark was arrested. I know. Was it you? No, that wasn't a lie. Liam handled the specifics. I just provided the leads. Ethan, I want to come home. Which home? Our home. We don't have a home. I continued looking at my computer screen. You can go. Ethan, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. She walked to my desk. Can you give me another chance, please? No. Why? Because I don't want to be betrayed again. I won't betray you again. You promise? I looked up at her. What will you use as a guarantee? Your integrity? Or your conscience? Sarah's face turned pale at my words. Ethan, I know I don't have the right to ask for your forgiveness, but I truly know I was wrong. Does knowing you were wrong help? It does. I can change. Change. I stood up. Sarah, some mistakes can't be changed. Like a broken mirror. Even if you piece it back together, the cracks will always be there. Tears welled up in her eyes. Ethan, can we really not start over? No. Not even if I do anything. Anything. She stood there blankly, taking a long time before speaking. Is it because I make you sick? What I said that night had clearly wounded her deeply. No. I walked to the window. It's because I don't love you anymore. That sentence was crueler than sick. Sarah's body swayed, and she almost lost her balance. Don't love me anymore, she murmured. So love really does disappear. Yes, it does. Then our 3 years of feelings are dead. I turned to look at her. They died the moment you betrayed me. She covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Ethan, I'm sorry. Apologies are useless. Then what is useful? Time. I sat back down. Time will make me forget you. Forget me? She laughed, a desolate sound. Fine, then I'll forget you too. With that, she turned and left. This time, she didn't look back. A month later, I heard Sarah had moved to another city. Before she left, she returned everything I had ever given her. Watches, necklaces, rings, and that red BMW. She relayed a message to me through Liam. Thank you for having loved me once. Thank you. How ironic. I threw all those things in the trash. Those items, once symbols of love, now only reminded me of my own foolishness. My colleagues at work started trying to set me up on dates. but I refused them all. It wasn't that I didn't want to start a new life, but I just wasn't in the mood. Sarah's betrayal had hurt me more deeply than I imagined. I began to doubt love, doubt marriage, doubt all intimate relationships. If even the person you've shared your bed with for 3 years could betray you, what was left to trust? Liam noticed my state and often came over to keep me company. Bro, you can't go on like this. I'm fine. Fine? Look at yourself. You're like a zombie. I looked at myself in the mirror. Indeed, I was haggard, unshaven, with no light in my eyes. I need time. Time is a healer, but you need to cooperate with the treatment, Liam said, sitting across from me. Bro, you can't let one unworthy woman ruin your life. I haven't ruined my life. Then what do you call this? I was speechless. Truly, since Sarah left, I had become a different person. No passion for work, no goals in life, just mechanically repeating the same things every day. Bro, I think you need a change of scenery. Change of scenery? Yeah, go on a trip or move somewhere else. This house is full of her shadow. Staying here will only make you more miserable. Liam was right. This house was indeed full of Sarah's traces. The vase she liked in the living room, her special set of dishes in the kitchen, the scent of her perfume in the bedroom. Even though she had moved out, her shadow was everywhere. I'll think about it. Don't think about it. I've already booked you a flight. What? Flying to Miami Beach tomorrow. For 2 weeks. Liam, you... Bro, listen to me. Go clear your head. If Sarah saw you in this state, she'd be thrilled. The mention of Sarah immediately made my expression harden. Indeed, I couldn't let her see me a wreck because of her. Okay, I'll go. The next day, I was on a flight to Miami Beach. The sea breeze was warm, the sun bright, and crowds of vacationers were everywhere. This relaxed atmosphere made me feel a long-lost sense of ease. I spent the afternoon sitting by the ocean, watching the waves crash against the shore, again and again, then recede. Like life itself, with its ups and downs, its gatherings and partings. Nothing is eternal, including pain. Eating dinner at the hotel restaurant that evening, I saw a newlywed couple at the next table. Their sweetness reminded me of myself and Sarah 3 years ago. We were like that then, wanting to be together every moment. But love, like fireworks, is ultimately ephemeral after its brilliant display. I raised my glass, toasting that dead relationship. Goodbye, Sarah. After returning from Miami Beach, I did feel much better. At least I no longer fell down when I saw things Sarah had used. Following Liam's advice, I renovated the house, replacing everything that bore Sarah's imprint. New furniture, new decorations, new color schemes. The whole house felt brand new, just like my mood. I also rededicated myself to work, and the company's performance soared under my direct management. The busy work left me no time to dwell on unpleasant memories. Life gradually returned to normal. Until one day, 3 months later, Liam rushed into my office. Bro, something's happened. What is it? Sarah was in a car accident. The pen in my hand stopped. Is it serious? Very serious. She's in the ICU now. I was silent for a few seconds, then went back to my work. What's that got to do with me? Bro. Liam, she's not my wife anymore. Her life or death is none of my concern. But, no buts. I looked up at him. We're divorced. Legally, we're strangers. Liam looked at my cold expression and sighed. She doesn't have any other family. The hospital needs someone to sign. Let her find Mark Foster. Foster's still in prison. That's her problem, not mine. Liam said no more and quietly left the office. But that afternoon, I couldn't concentrate on work. Images of Sarah kept flashing through my mind. She was injured? Badly. Forget it. It's none of my business. When she betrayed me, did she consider my feelings? When she was with another man, did she think of me? Now that she's in trouble, why should I care? I tried to comfort myself with these thoughts, but an inexplicable unease lingered in my heart. When I got home that night, I drank a lot, which was unusual for me. I lay drunk on the sofa, staring at the ceiling. Sarah, if she really died, how would I feel? Relief. Or regret? I couldn't figure it out. In the middle of the night, my phone rang. It was the hospital. Is this Mr. Ethan Miller? Yes. Ms. Sarah Williams left a will before her car accident, designating you as the beneficiary. Her condition is very critical right now. Could you please come to the hospital? I looked at the time. 2 in the morning. I'll be right there. At the hospital, the doctor on duty explained Sarah's condition. The accident was severe, multiple fractures, and a serious concussion. She's currently unconscious, and it's uncertain when she'll wake up. Her will. The doctor handed me an envelope. She wrote this 2 weeks ago and asked us to keep it for her. I opened the envelope. Inside was a piece of paper and a key. The paper had only a few lines. Ethan, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. I'm sorry. I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but I still want to say, I truly love you. This key is a spare to my apartment. There are some things inside. If you're willing, please help me take care of them. If not, just pretend this never happened. Thank you for the 3 years of happiness you gave me. Sarah. Reading the note, my feelings were complicated. She actually left me a will. Doctor, when did she write this? 2 weeks ago. She said she wasn't feeling well and wanted to make a will just in case. 2 weeks ago. Did she have a premonition? How is she doing now? Very critical. The doctor shook his head. Whether she wakes up depends on her own will to live. I looked through the ICU window at Sarah lying in the hospital bed. Her face was pale, tubes connected to her body everywhere. She looked so frail. Was this still the once beautiful and proud woman I knew? Sir, what is your relationship to the patient? A nurse asked me. Ex-husband. Then are you willing to sign this surgical consent form? The patient needs brain surgery. I looked at the consent form, hesitating. Sign it or not? If I signed, it meant I still cared about her. If I didn't, she might die. Give me some time to think. Okay, but please decide as soon as possible. The patient's condition can't wait. I walked out of the hospital and smoked a few cigarettes outside. The night wind was cold, clearing my head a little. Sarah, what exactly do you want me to do? In the end, I signed a surgical consent form. Not because I still loved her, but because I didn't want to live with regret. Whatever she had done, she was once my wife, the woman I had loved. I couldn't just stand by and watch her die. The surgery lasted 6 hours. I waited outside for 6 hours. Liam came to keep me company, saying nothing as he looked at my exhausted face. He knew that words were useless at this moment. When the doctor came out of the operating room, it was already dawn. The surgery was successful, but it's still unknown when the patient will regain consciousness. So, she might end up in a vegetative state? That's a possibility. I nodded, paid the medical bills, and then left the hospital. At the hospital entrance, I took out the key Sarah had left me. Following the address, I found her apartment. It was a small studio, the rent probably not too expensive. When I pushed open the door, I was stunned by what I saw. The room was covered with our old photos. Wedding photos, travel photos, snapshots of our daily life, plastered densely across an entire wall. Our marriage certificate was on the table, her page circled in red pen. On the nightstand, there was a diary. I flipped through a few pages. It was all her record of her life these past few months. Passed by the restaurant we used to go to today. Got up the courage to eat there alone. The owner still remembers us. Asked why Ethan wasn't with me. I lied and said you were on a business trip. Saw a couple taking wedding photos. Reminded me of how sweet we were back then. If I could do it all over again, I definitely wouldn't make those mistakes. Dreamed of Ethan last night. In a dream, we were still married, still so in love. Woke up with tears soaking my pillow. Went for a checkup. The doctor said I have some heart problems. Suddenly thought, if I died, would Ethan be sad? Probably not. After all, I've disappointed him completely. Every page was filled with her longing for me and regret for the past. My hands trembled as I read the last page. Ethan, if you're reading this diary, it means something really happened to me. I know I don't deserve to ask for your forgiveness, but I still want to tell you, these past few months without you have been the most painful time of my life. I regret every single day. Regret betraying you. Regret losing you. I thought about coming back to you, but I knew you wouldn't forgive me. So I chose to love you from afar, to miss you in silence. If there's a next life, I hope I can meet you again, love you again. This time, I won't make any mistakes. After reading all this, I finally broke down and cried. So, these past few months, she had been suffering so much. So, she had been missing me too, regretting her actions. But what was the use of it all now? The mistake had been made, the damage done. Time wouldn't turn back. I sat on her bed, looking at the wall full of photos, remembering the good times we shared. Back then, we were so in love, so happy. If it weren't for Mark Foster, if she hadn't betrayed me, we would probably still be a loving couple. But alas, there were no ifs. Sarah lay in the ICU for 2 weeks before she finally woke up. The doctors called it a miracle, saying her will to live was strong. Ethan. Her first word upon waking was my name. I'm here. She looked at me, tears welling in her eyes. Why did you come? Your will. I thought you wouldn't come. I thought I wouldn't either. She smiled, a weak but genuine smile. Ethan, thank you. For what? Thank you for signing the consent form. Thank you for coming to see me. I didn't answer, just looked at her quietly. Ethan, I have something to tell you. I don't want to hear it. Please, let me finish. Just as a dying person's last wish. Her words sent a pang through my heart. You're not going to die. The doctors say you're recovering well. I know my own condition. She struggled to sit up a little. My heart disease, It's already very serious. The car accident just made it flare up sooner. What do you mean? I don't have long to live, Ethan. What nonsense are you talking? I'm not talking nonsense. She pulled out a medical report from under her pillow. This is from a month ago. The doctor said I have 6 months at most. I took the report. The diagnosis shocked me. Severe myocardial infarction, at risk of sudden death at any moment. Why didn't you get treatment sooner? It's untreatable, and besides. She gave a bitter smile. I had no motivation to get treatment. What do you mean, no motivation? Losing you. I felt like living had no meaning anymore. Her words pierced my heart like needles. Sarah, don't say things like that. It's the truth. She looked at me. Ethan, I know I have no right to say this, but I still want to tell you, I truly love you. More than my own life. If you truly loved me, why did you betray me? Because I was stupid, because I was greedy. Tears streamed down her face. I thought I could have it both ways, thought I could have your love and enjoy the novelty Mark gave me. And the result? The result is I lost everything. She cried like a child. Ethan, I was wrong, I was so wrong. Watching her cry, my heart was a maelstrom of emotions. Anger, resentment, pity, reluctance, all tangled together. Ethan, I know you won't forgive me, and I don't expect you to. I just want to tell you, meeting you was the happiest thing in my life, and losing you was the biggest mistake of my life. If there really is a next life, I hope I could be a new person and love you all over again. After saying these words, she seemed to have exhausted all her strength, lay back down, and close her eyes. I sat by her bed, looking at her pale face, my emotions in turmoil. This woman, should I hate her or pity her? She betrayed me, hurt me, made me suffer for so long. But looking at her like this now, I couldn't find a reason to hate. Perhaps she too was a victim of love. Perhaps she too was paying the price for her choices. It was just that this price was too heavy. During Sarah's time in the hospital, I visited her every day, not because I had forgiven her, but because I couldn't bear to watch her face death alone. Her physical condition deteriorated daily, and she grew thinner. But her spirits were surprisingly good. She always smiled when she spoke to me. Ethan, do you remember when we first met? I remember. You were wearing a black suit, looking incredibly handsome. You were very shy back then, blushing like an apple. Yeah, I'd never been so smitten with a man before. She looked at me, her eyes filled with nostalgia and regret. If only we could go back to that time. We can't go back. I know. She nodded. Ethan, will you remember our good times? I will. That's enough then. She said this with a contented smile on her face, as if my remembering her was enough to validate her love. Ethan, I want to ask you for one thing. What is it? After I die, please have me cremated and scatter my ashes in the park where we had our first date. You're not going to die. I will, and soon. She took my hand. Promise me, okay? I looked at her hopeful eyes and nodded. Okay. Also, I want you to forget me. What? Forget me and start a new life. Find a good woman, get married, have children, and live happily. Why do you want me to forget you? Because I don't want to be a burden to you. There were tears in her eyes, but her voice was firm. Ethan, you're still young. You deserve a better life. And I'm just a passerby in your life. Sarah, promise me, okay? I was silent for a long time, then finally nodded. Okay. She smiled a radiant smile. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for giving me this chance, for letting me see you and talk to you before I die. This is enough for me. That night, Sarah passed away peacefully. The nurse said she left in her sleep without pain. Following her last wishes, I arranged for her cremation and then took her ashes to the park where we had our first date. It was a spring afternoon, the sun was shining, and the breeze was gentle. I scattered her ashes into the lake, watching them slowly sink beneath the surface. Sarah, rest in peace. Leaving the park, I felt like something inside me had also been buried. The anger, the resentment, and the pain. Perhaps it was time to let go. Perhaps it was time to start anew.